I'm your host, Bill Cannon, and today is a special show called Backyard Coffee. I even have my police off the cuff coffee mug, and on the other side, we have it dipped in butter, which is our trademark. So you can get these on the police off the cuff website, part of our merchandise. Another thing I have, which is the police off the cuff. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Nunu Huda, hello, dipped in butter on the other side as well as police off the cuff. So I thought about naming this backyard coffee with Bill, but depending where you are in the world, you're not necessarily drinking coffee, you know? You could be drinking in Greece, you could be drinking ouzo. I don't know if you ever drank ouzo before. In Italy, you could be drinking sambuca. Don't forget those three beans in that snifter. But in New York, I choose to drink coffee. Carve it up. You guys love it, Gisela, you know? Look at all you guys. I guess you guys must have known I was coming live today. Buffalo, New York, Morgan Ashley Roll. Morgan Ashley Roll, do you know that I'm an alumnus of Buffalo State College? Yes, many, many moons ago, but I transferred from Nassau Community College and I went to Buffalo State. I believe my graduation date was like 1980. That's a long time ago, right? And I was a broadcast journalism major, believe it or not. You can get into the police service till years and years later. Hello, 672E Galaxy, how are you? Hello, retired Sergeant Melinda. I haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you back. Folks, let's have a little coffee. This is Backyard Coffee with Bill Cannon, although I'm still wearing many hats. You guys like my hat, right? Wearing many hats, police off the cuff, real crime stories, and Backyard Coffee. This is sort of a relaxed show. And I'm back in my garden, or as you Brits would say, or as we say in this country, my yard. I'm back in my yard. A retired Sergeant Melinda, hello again at Yankee. How are you? Great to see you, Melinda. Kellyanne Schulman, good morning. Angela Eng, hi, Yankees for life. Angela Eng, your boyfriend gives us agina on our show, but we love him. I don't know if you guys watched last night, but I'm going to get into that a little bit after we just get more and more people in the chat. Welcome. It's still beautiful out here today. I mean, the weather's a little cool, but it's nice. Thank you, Joshua Gagney, driver from Maine, heading from Maine to Pennsylvania. Joshua, got the title for you. That's right, Backyard Coffee with Bill. Our producer, Josh, told me to name it that, Backyard Coffee. But sometimes I may not want to drink a coffee, you know? Sometimes I may want to have a beer. Or for you folks in Napa Valley, you can't get anything better than the Cabernet in Napa Valley, California. The best, right? Melody Valentin actually catching you live. Yay, I'm glad to have you. Angela Ang, hello, VP. You're saying hello. Where's Joe? Is Joe finally working today as an attorney? That's great. Joe loves coming on podcasts. He just loves it, and we love having him as a guest. You know, yeah. Backyard beverages. You can have a beer. Uh, Say you're in Japan. What are they drinking in Japan? Are they drinking sake? And the only Chinese drink I know is that Qingdao beer, which is pretty damn good beer. It's light, but it's a real tasty beer. Factual breakdown. Napa Valley is forget about it. The best wine, bar none. It's the best in the world, that Napa Valley Cabernet. So I'm getting more and more people into the chat, and then we're going to get into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Alec Baldwin, the shooting at the ranch there, and it's really in Santa Fe, and a real tragedy. But you know something, as we spoke about last night, I don't know if you watched the show. Lieutenant Pete is on the air. Hey, Bill, and all good chat friends. Great to see you, Lieutenant Pete. Where's Richella? I know she's got to be right behind you. Lorna McKenzie, Morgan Ashley, roll me neither. uh, I don't know if you watched the show last night, but I thought it was a really. I don't like to tap myself on the back, but I thought the show was really good. We had Joe Murray on, and of course, straight out of Brooklyn, Phil Grimaldi, and I think we covered some really important topics in regards to the Alec Baldwin situation, and of course, the killing of Helena Hutchins, 42-year-old director of photography on that movie. Deborah Mayo, my wife, is doing as great as can be expected. We took another half-hour walk yesterday along the river. She's got a long road ahead of her, but she's tough and she's going to make it. And with me assisting her, she's going to make it. And it's, it's a challenge. I don't know if any of you guys ever had surgery before, but she had some pretty serious surgery. And it's going to take 3 to 6 months to get back to her fighting weight and everything and get back to work. She has a pretty serious job, but her boss is great, and he's super supportive of her, and we're not worried about her getting back to work anytime soon. She's got it covered with people going to fill in for her while she's gone. So we was talking about the case yesterday, and the New York Times wrote a little story today on the shooting. One of the first things we have to realize is this accidental shooting. Someone was killed, and so there's some gross negligence in this shooting. And, we can all get lost upon the fact that we all feel sorry for Alec Baldwin. But you know something? There was some gross negligence here, both on the part of the person who handed him that gun, that was supposed to declare that that gun was in fact safe, when they yelled on the set, cold gun. However, in essence, it wasn't a cold gun, it was a hot gun. But does that responsibility stop with that person that handed him, the assistant director, that handed him the gun? No, many levels of responsibility here. Duty Ron, thank you so much. Prayers for Mrs. Cannon, sending strength and positive vibes, Bill. And back to you too, Duty Ron. I know you had some surgery yourself, and same prayers for you too, man. Appreciate it. Duty Ron's probably supported this show more than any other person on YouTube, and I appreciate it. Something I'm reading, Madeline, yes, the armorer was 24 years old. No matter what excuse they try to give, it's not an excuse. There's things in the law that cover gross negligence. And could Alec Baldwin be charged with manslaughter through criminally negligent homicide? Absolutely. And of course, all of us, our instincts are to forgive and forget. But you know something? There's a dead 42-year-old woman right now who was a mother, a wife. She had family that loved her. She's dead now. So we got to find out what the hell happened here. Who was the most responsible? Who is responsible? Is there criminal liability? It says on the New York Times article, the shooting happened during a rehearsal for a scene in Rust. Mr. Baldwin fired the gun, striking the cinematographer Helena Hutchins in the chest and the director Joel Souza in the shoulder. Miss Hutchins, 42, was airlifted to a hospital in Albuquerque where she died. Mr. Souza, 48, was taken by ambulance to a hospital in Santa Fe and was released on Friday. I have several questions with that. I'm not forgiving anyone right away, and there is a tragedy here, but I'm not forgiving the person that, Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger, he pulled the trigger, and someone's dead. Why was he pointing that gun at her? And why did he pull the trigger when he pointed that gun at her? And I'm not claiming there was any malice, but was there negligence? Was there gross negligence? Yeah, I think so, on several levels. Another thing that bothers me is that this is from a detective by the name of Joel Cano from the Albuquerque police, said that an assistant director on the set had taken the gun off a cart where it had been placed by the film's armorer or weapons handler, and handed it to Mr. Baldwin, who pulled the trigger shortly thereafter. According to the affidavit, the assistant director called out the words "cold gun," indicated that it was unloaded and safe for Mr. Baldwin to handle. One of the things, and I've never claimed, even though I've extensive firearms training from 27 years on the NYPD, I've never claimed to be a gun buff or a gun expert. However, one of the first things you would do when someone says the gun is safe, it's your responsibility to do a physical check, physical and a visual check of that gun to see if in fact it is unloaded. So the buck Unfortunately, the buck stops with Mr. Baldwin. And he can sit there and cry tears and everything, and we all feel sorry for him. But you know something? Again, someone's dead. So this is real adult stuff. Becomes police stuff. This becomes an investigation. There was also reports that the crew was very unhappy. Now, they were unhappy about a couple of things. It seems like this was a low-budget movie, and they were making the crew stay in a hotel an hour from the set. And that doesn't ingratiate a crew. But also, there had been complaints days earlier that a handful of crew members had walked off the set over general working conditions, according to several people involved in the production and a theatrical union official. Crew members had complained to producers about long work days, often exceeding 13 hours, and delayed paychecks. Some also said that the production company had failed to book hotel rooms near the set, meaning that they had to drive about an hour to their homes after long, physically demanding days. Look, if you know anyone that works in the movie business, that's a given. People expect to work these 12 and 13-hour days because the movie is on a budget. And they sometimes, to shoot certain scenes, they need certain conditions. They need the weather to be correct. They need the lighting to be correct. So yes, people work long, long hours. And Backyard Coffee with Bill Cannon with my official police off the cuff mug. And what else would we have on the other side but dipped in butter? You can get one of these mugs for yourself on our website, policeoffthecuff.com. So, folks, nice merch, Joshua. You're right, right. So, with this case, there was a statement released on Friday by Alec Baldwin that said he called the shooting a tragic accident and said he had been in touch with Miss Hutchins' husband to offer his support. There are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident. Maxie, there was just a truck going by, so I wanted to... Maxie Doodle, you're right. I had read further on that he was rehearsing the scene inside a church and that he was cross-drawing the gun. So could this have been an accidental discharge? Look, that's sort of a misnomer in firearm language. For a gun to go off, you have to pull the trigger. So when people talk about an accidental discharge, does that mean that you didn't intend to pull the trigger? Because for the gun to go off, you need to pull the trigger. So therefore, Alec Baldwin cross-drawing across his chest, he pulled the trigger. And 2 people were shot. One person, the director of photography, Helena Hutchins, got shot in the chest. She's dead. So do we just immediately say, oh, how tragic, and forgive the persons involved? No, there must be a thorough investigation of this case. And before you start feeling sorry for people, let's feel sorry for the dead woman, who is now dead because of negligence. It's not a time to start, oh, let's move on. No, let's get the truth. Let's find out what happened here. Let's do a thorough investigation. If someone needs to be arrested, let's do it. If there was that amount of gross negligence, and, as I said, in the law of manslaughter, there is criminally negligence, and even a lower level of manslaughter 2, I believe it includes super reckless conduct. And so it'll be determined by the investigators what level, if any, of negligence is this, because they have to recreate what happened. There were at least, listen to this, this is what makes me believe that, you can't just move on and forgive this. There were at least 2 accidental gun discharges on the set on October 16th, days before the fatal shooting. Duty Ron asks, Bill, why was he pointing the weapon at the victim in the first place? That's a question I would like answered by the investigators. Why? One of the problems, too, with these investigations is once more and more time moves on, everyone gets an attorney attached to them. And for the investigators now to get the truth becomes more and more difficult as attorneys start giving advice to clients who are the most culpable for charges. And now, of course, the movie company, civilly, they better have good insurance because they're going to part with millions and millions of dollars. Because civilly, also, people have to get deposed, and they can be deposed by attorneys, and they get grilled, and that they must get the truth. Kelly Walk, thank you so much. Sergeant Melinda's on the scene. Marie Green, how are you? Hello, Marie Green. Helen Johns was pointing at the camera. I don't know, why was he even pointing at the camera? I mean, yeah, that could be that he was, but it wasn't live. It said he was practicing. So there's got to be some negligence here. He's practicing with what he thought, to his credit, he thought was a cold gun, that it wasn't a live gun. And from everyone you speak to that works in the movie business, there should not be live rounds anywhere near a movie set. However, this same gun was purportedly used days before to shoot target practice. And you know something? Granted, this area is gun country. It's not the same as New York City. They're out sort of in the desert, and guns are as commonplace as, as knives, and everyone owns a gun. 12-Step Woman, member for 3 months. Great to see you. We'll return to Patreon when I get paid next week. Love that 12-Step Woman. Lorna McKenzie is live. Retired Sergeant Melinda. Betty Spaghetti, which, in my opinion, should be at the least charged with some kind of recklessness. I would think that a big part of this, a big part of the penalty for this is the suffering I'm sure Alec Baldwin is going through. No one is saying that he purposely shot Helena Hutchins, but there is a level, and I don't want to get redundant, but there is a level of negligence here, both on the part of him and the part of this movie company. And if they were cutting corners in the name of lack of safety, shame on them and shame on the movie company, Devotee, he is culpable. Alec didn't load a triple Glacks. You're 100%, but you know something, triple Glacks? One of the first things you do if you know anything about firearms, if someone hands you a gun and says it's cold, it's not loaded, you should check it yourself. You do a visual and a physical inspection of that firearm to make sure that it's not loaded. So to say he's not responsible, let's stop. He is responsible, and is there culpability down the line with many other people? Yeah, and if they cut corners, if they cut the safety team. One of the things I was concerned with in this case is the investigation. Was it going to be a thorough investigation? Were they going to send enough investigators to that scene to interview everyone? Many movie sets can have 100 people working on it, they can have over 100 people. So who's going to interview those 100 people? Are they sending 2 investigators there? I had said that if I was running that investigation, that I would want about 25 detectives going to that scene. So we could separate everyone, we could prevent them from talking to each other, and we could interview them, taking our time, one at a time, separately, before people got to consult with attorneys, and before all of a sudden their memories become jarred. Who was actually in that church when the gun was fired? We're just finding that out now. You would have thought yesterday or when this occurred that this was outside. Apparently this happened inside a church. There were some people saying that Alec was playing with the gun. Could that be? If he's fooling around with a gun, does that raise this in the minds of some of you folks in the chat? Morning, Bill, your yard is gorgeous. My tree is turning beautiful. Yeah, the budget film walkouts, I feel bad for Baldwin. Let's stop feeling bad for him, and let's get to the investigation, because investigators can't go there feeling bad for anyone. They got to go there and do their job, you know. Gonzaga, Holly Weird. Yeah, Holly Weird, you know. Um, so this is the new name of this, Dipped in Butter. I love this, right? This is our some of our merch. Uh, and this is another show of mine, Backyard Coffee with Bill Cannon. Hello, Jamie Pimenthal. Look, if he was, we need to find that out in the investigation. You know, we need to find out exactly what occurred, and we can't. And they can't in Santa Fe cut corners on this investigation. They need to spend all the money that this investigation costs. Jamie, Texas chick, Alex's response, the prop master's response. The prop master, yeah, but you know something? Someone hands you a gun and you point it at someone, you pull the trigger and kill them. Who pulled the trigger? The prop master? No. Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger. Marie Green, Peaky Blinders, Bill, your hat. I love that. Yeah. It's like, I used to call this my Irish hat, you know. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. A little, that's probably the most famous Irish song on earth, you know. Yeah, retired Sergeant Melinda claims that the armorer and Alec Baldwin, it falls on both of them. They're both responsible. You know, tragedy like this, horrible. Like, no one wants to see this happen to anyone. But we, as investigators, the armorer was only 24 and inexperienced. Guns were used for target practice on breaks. That is negligence right there. Anyone that's worked on a movie set, we had Sergeant Steve Gardell on our show the other night, who worked in the movie TV unit. He said it's a no-no that any live rounds should be anywhere near a movie set, because that allows for these types of mistakes to occur, you know? And Angela Eng, the AD, handed the gun to Alec. That's not supposed to happen either, right? Shouldn't the armorer be handling it? CG, no live rounds should be there, period. 100%. No live rounds should be anywhere on a movie set, you know? So, folks, if you're in the chat, and I have to do this little announcement, and you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, or just Police Off the Cuff, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. We're just coming up to 23,000. And, you know, we've been sort of eking along. We had some big spurts, and then we started slowing down a little bit. So if you love this show, bring your friends, your family, send it out to whatever countries you were from. Tell the folks in your country about Police Off the Cuff. The Gabby Cabby hooked us up in the UK. Everyone knows us now because of the Gabby Cabby. Thank you so much, the Gabby Cabby. I love that name. That's so unbelievable, you know. So I'm switching from backyard coffee to backyard water. Good morning from Hawaii. Oh my God, got to be beautiful there. This should be the end of the movie career. I don't think it's going to be that. Well, you know, something like this can change your life. You know, taking someone's life accidentally. It's, even though you didn't mean it, it can definitely change your life and really affect everything, you know. Hello from Chicago, Donna, Texas Red. Howdy doody, howdy from, don't go in Texas, you go howdy, right? Alex, time to retire? I don't know. Coffee and water, my two drinks. I like this one though. The Police Off the Cuff, what's it called? A tumbler? And on the other side it says Police Off the Cuff and Dipped in Butter. So you got it on both sides. You can get them on the Police Off the Cuff website, policeoffthecuff.com. Betty Spaghetti, love that one. Right at Retired Melinda. Princess Mitch, I haven't seen you in a while, Princess Mitch. Where you been? Welcome back. Oh, great to see you back. Triple Glack said whoever brought the rounds should be held liable. Midnight Baker, Sergeant Bill, beautiful yard. Cheers to everyone that's sitting, watching Backyard Coffee. Coach, thank you so much. My wife is feeling better, and we've been taking a walk every day. You know, she's supposed to get her stretch out. You know, you want to move around. You don't want your blood to remain stagnant. So she gets up, and yesterday we took a longer walk than the day before. So she's getting stronger and stronger all the time. You know, and so now, folks, thank you, Madeline. Sad that this has happened again. Yes, Van Pearsall, your yard looks real nice. Thank you. Love these morning shows. Glad your wife is on the mend. 12-step woman dipped in butter. That's our motto. Dipped in butter. Everything's better when it's dipped in butter, right? I love that. I love that expression. Judy Morales, possibly someone hates Alex so much. Sabotage. You know, I don't think so. Could that happen? But I don't think so. You know, because this took the life of a beautiful woman. You know, everyone liked her. She was apparently excellent. Not that any of this matters. A mother, a wife, she lost her life over this. And, you know, we have to do a proper investigation. Thanks, Lieutenant Pete. He said, best to my wife. Appreciate it. We have to do a thorough investigation. And look, I feel bad. Betty Spaghetti, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Great coverage and chat. Thank you. Thank you, Betty Spaghetti. Love that name. Love the name. Princess Mitch says, Duty Ron, much love to you. I tell you, we got the blue heart. You guys, you know, I can't tell you how much fun it is just to come on these backyard chats with you guys. It's almost like having a conversation with hundreds of people, thousands of people, actually. My chat yesterday already has 3,100 people listen to it. And I think it's great. I get to talk to you guys. We get to just sort of a give and take of what's going on. Some of the big cases. Painted Pony, thank you, Bill. You're down to earth. I really enjoy your commentary. Thank you so much, Painted Pony. All you guys that are members of the Police Off the Cuff members, you're on our website. We have our producer, Josh, has edited some of the interview with Chaz Palminteri, and we have it on our the members only website, a members only Police Off the Cuff website for members only. So you're privileged. You're getting something. You're getting something for being a bucket, for being polishing a rack, being dipped in butter, and being heated dipped in butter. Marie Green, thank you so much. Maria, I love seeing you in the chat. You're so loyal. You're here all the time. Jen Bernard, hi from Ontario, Canada. Ontario. There used to be a commercial for that, you know. Steffi, I enjoy getting factual information and insight from you guys. Yeah, space heater chats. All right, instead of fireside chats, we're going to have space heater chats because pretty soon it's going to be too cold for me to sit out here. But I got that little heater to my left here. I'll just crank it on and I'll be all right here. Josh is in the chat too. He's our producer. I don't know what I would do being on YouTube without Josh or without Duty Run. I would be lost. I wouldn't know what to do. They've coached me along the way. And a lot of people say, oh, I want to start my own YouTube. Okay, go ahead. You're free to do that. Not easy, guys. Actually, this February, Mark and I started this in 2019, so it's going to be 3 years, actually. This February, we split up a little bit. I'm doing real crime stories, Police Off the Cuff, crime stories with straight out of Brooklyn, Phil Grimaldi. And Mark's, been doing just really Thursday Police Off the Cuff shows, and with Mike Colon. Mike Colon is, if you haven't watched him, he's a brilliant young guy. John Donahue, love the beverage. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You're a former Brooklyn guy, huh? That's great. Watching Joe Murray, I think he has defense running through his veins. You know something? Joe Murray is a real guy, man. And you know something? If you were ever in trouble, he's the guy you'd want representing you because he's all in. He's not a bullshit artist, and he believes what he says. And I go against him almost all the time. Because I see it from a police perspective. Evening, Bill. Hope you're well. Love to your wife from England, UK. Catherine D. Thank you so much. Hi from NZ. Allison Ford. Notice Alec got in there fast with accidental shooting. Well, some people are saying accidental discharge, or the term misfired. Misfired. The only way a gun goes off is if you pull the trigger. So is that a misfiring? Trish Beard, hi from Cornwall, UK. Shannon, Georgia Peach, hello, Bill, and Police Off the Cuff family. So great to have all you guys stop by in this beautiful day, right? My Sarah, my husband loves to hear your New York accents. Marie Green, Joe Murray, bless him, he knows this stuff. Deborah Marouche, there's a lot more to the story that's coming out. 100%. You know something? You can't. We used to say this to our bosses on the NYPD when they would want immediate results in an investigation. And we would tell them, do you want information? I'll give it to you. Do you want accurate information? Then you're going to have to wait. They didn't like to hear that, but that's the honest truth, you know. Donna, someone said that Alec Baldwin was anti-gun, then he shouldn't have his mitts on a gun, you know. Look, I know in the police world, Alec Baldwin is not a well-loved guy, and I'm sort of resisting reading a statement that he made 3 years ago about a cop that was involved in a shooting. He condemned the guy right away, and the cop was found. There was a cop from California. He was found justified after an investigation, and right away Alec Baldwin came out and said, "Oh, I wonder what it's like to." Here I am quoting what he said, to shoot someone without reason. That was the gist of it. And after the district attorney investigated it, Sergeant Melinda, sorry if I missed any of your hellos. Love you all so much. Have to go back to work after your lunch break. Thank you for stopping by, Sergeant Melinda. Bees Happy. I love that one. Hello, Bill. As always, enjoying these backyard chats. Aren't they fun? Phil Grimaldi showed up straight out of Brooklyn. I can never tell what he's doing. You know, is he in Brooklyn? Is he in Jersey? What's he doing? You know, but he's here. Great to see you, Phil. 12-step woman. You have a very blessed day to retired Sergeant Melinda. Something. I'm almost at 33 minutes. I just wanted to say a little bit about the laundry attorney. We got into that pretty deep yesterday with Phil Grimaldi, myself, Phil Grimaldi, and of course Joe Murray. And I've watched a lot of the interviews by Steve Bertolino, who is the attorney for the laundries, and I had said, and I believe this, I think he's out of his league. I think this case is a little bit too big for him because he has gone on numerous TV stations and been interviewed, and I don't know if you saw the Ashley Banfield interview, but in my opinion, she ate him up and spit him out, and he looked foolish. And I think there was another interview he did with someone from NBC, I believe it was, or ABC, John Lama, and he was caught in a huge, huge lie during that, and you could just read it on his face. So maybe an attorney that is giving advice to his clients not to talk, maybe he should take his own advice. Thank you, retired Sergeant Melinda, giving hugs to my wife. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. What do you guys think about the Steve Bertolino, the attorney for the laundries? Do you think that he's talking too much and he's digging himself a bigger hole? What do you think? This isn't political. I don't know why you're saying it's political. Phil Grimaldi, Bill, read an affidavit that Baldwin was cross-drawing when... Yeah, I read that too, Phil. So that could be... negligence in the way that, why were you rehearsing and why did you pull the trigger? And so all of those things have to be looked into. But getting back to the laundry attorney, and I'm not getting political, I'm just saying that his advice is to counsel. That's what an attorney's called, a counselor, to counsel his clients. But yet, he's going on TV and perhaps speaking too much, because he's getting caught in what I view from a trained investigator as lying. And I think he's lying a lot. He's getting caught in lies. And maybe he shouldn't submit himself to in-depth interviews by trained journalists that know the correct questions. I believe Ashley Banfield also has a law degree. So I believe she knows the law. So, maybe he shouldn't, yeah, maybe he's talking too much, and what's left in that case? There's a lot left, actually. There's a lot left. How do we connect Brian now, whose remains were found? He's positively ID'd. How do we connect and definitively prove that Brian Laundrie killed Gabby Petito? Can we do that? What does the FBI have and the local police have that we don't know about? My feelings are, and I stated this on the show last night, that I have no doubt that Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito. And I have no doubt that the family knows that he told his family that. Uh, I have no doubt that the attorney knows that he killed Gabby Petito. I think to think anything else is extreme naivete. And yes, if you're an attorney, you can try to create doubt, the doubt that that in fact occurred. But that's what I believe based on lots and lots and lots of circumstantial evidence. Hello from Russia. Alec is very popular here. Oh, Alec Baldwin is popular. Well, he did that Hunt for Red October movie many, many years ago, right? Painted Pony, his counsel led to more tragedy. You could look at it that way too. You're right. And Marie Green agrees with me. Jaden, have a blessed day, Sergeant Bill and family. Catherine D, yes, you're right, Sergeant Bill. I don't believe Brian told his parents that he murdered Trish Norman. Well, you have every right to believe that. There was another question that he was asked. Was there a deal cut between the Laundrie family and Roberta and Chris Laundrie with the FBI that they wouldn't be prosecuted if they showed exactly where they believed Brian to be? And sure enough, the park opened that day, and they go in there and they find his backpack and his notebook. And then shortly thereafter, they find his remains. Did they cut a deal with the FBI? Stephen Bertolino strenuously denied that they cut a deal with the FBI. Again, do I believe that? No, I don't believe that. I believe there was a deal. CG, inconclusive autopsy. I think it's difficult when the body is skeletonized and there's no tissue to do many toxicological tests that might show something. What was the cause of death? I don't think it's impossible. That's why they called, I believe, an anthropologist to the scene. Who knows if they recovered? Helen Johns, thank you so much. Who knows if even after they have an anthropologist go to the scene, if they're going to be able to determine manner and cause of death. Most people think, and there's no evidence behind it, most people think that he committed suicide. But minus evidence, can we definitively say that he committed suicide? Another thing that Gisela, I don't see Gisela in the chat today. Where'd she go? She's probably got her own show going right now, Gisela is probably one of the hardest working content providers on YouTube. She's doing one hell of a job. Folks, if you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, please go to our YouTube, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a thumbs up. Judy Maris said she thinks they cut a deal. Jamie, Texas chick, hopefully there's something in the notebook. I think they'll hold that extremely close to the vest. Factual breakdown, I believe he committed suicide to avoid jail. I just want to know which parent helped him. I think many of us think that Chris and Roberta Laundrie, Brian's parents, helped him. I don't think they really had any inkling that he was going to commit suicide. I don't think any parent would let their kid go if they believed that. But he obviously was distraught. One of the things also that Steve Bertolino had said, and I thought it was almost like a Freudian slip. And I believe it was on the 13th or 14th of September when, maybe it was the 14th, when Brian left to go into the Carlton Reserve to go hiking or whatever it was. He said on an ABC News interview that Brian was grieving. And again, many people pointed out to me that there's many ways that you can interpret the way grieving means. Was he grieving that he knew that Gabby Petito was dead, even though her body wasn't found till, I believe, her body was found on the 19th? So he was grieving on the 13th. Was he grieving because they had broken up? But the attorney said that. Hi, KV. How are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you. Was he grieving because he knew, in fact, that Gabby Petito was dead? And that was one of the things that the attorney, Steve Bertolino, was trying to, I think he wished he had taken it back. He wished he had never said that. Madeline, if the parents were this nonchalant, I'm sorry I didn't get to that. Could they know that he was grieving? Brian either told them or his parents figured it out when Gabby went missing. That was from Hope. Jaja, nice voice there. Well done. Thank you. You know, he was grieving. What was he grieving over? And it's been pointed out to me in the chat that there's numerous meanings of the word grieving. But I took it that the defense attorney, Steve Bertolino, April Rain, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Joining the Police Off the Cuff family. Thank you so much. Grieving in context of circumstances, hard pressed to believe other than Gabby's demise. Marjo Sieg. I agree with you, Margot. I think the attorney, sometimes when you talk too much, you say things that you didn't mean to say. You just run at the mouth. We were always trained that when we were interviewed to give short answers and don't volunteer anything. Just answer what the inquisitor asked, whether the inquisitor is a defense attorney, whether the inquisitor is a district attorney, or whether you're being questioned on an internal investigation by internal affairs investigators. Give short answers and just answer the question. Don't volunteer anything. Tennessee girl, joining late. I don't feel there'll be very much journalism, but drawings because Brian loved to draw. 12 he was getting over the loss of his freedom, having to say goodbye to his life of living free of consequences. SSS. April Rain, no, thank you. Marie Green, loose lips sink 1,000 ships. Always say, you know something? That is one of the, is so true in so many different things. The other thing is, say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. You know how many times I've regretted not living by that? You say something stupid and you wind up saying it to the wrong person, and, there's no need to say it sometimes, But yeah, loose lips sink ships. Some of the best advice you could ever get in the world is loose lips sink ships. Guys, we're coming up on 45 minutes. I didn't really want to go that long, but if you want to get your real Police Off the Cuff mug, dipped in butter on the other side, or this beautiful silver tumbler, you can go on our website. You can see it also says dipped in butter on the other. Madeline, you're right. Keeping your mouth shut is such a skill. 100%. You got to shut up every once in a while, right? John Wesley Walsh. I don't think I'm going to read that, but thank you for your comment. Folks, this is the first episode of me actually calling this Backyard Coffee with Bill Cannon, who my producer Josh came up with that name. But that's what this little daytime show. Peter Pranzo, I believe a solid attorney person like Joe Murray would have talked Brian into giving himself up and taking a plea, saving his life. That's Lieutenant Pete, that's a great point, and not many people have said that. You're 100% right. Folks, I'm coming up on 45 minutes. I didn't really want to go this long. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, and this has been Backyard Coffee. Thank you so much for tuning in.